Zavjalova needs for a title. Bang!
There's the emotion.
There it is.
Boom! Jordan Richard.
Champion again.
For the first time since 1996, the U.S. Women's Open is held right here at Royal Penn Woodland, and what a show we have for you here. Jane Sin, Diana Zavjalova, Stephanie Johnson, Verity Crawley, and Brianna Klimmer all looking for their first green jacket here at Royal Penn Woodland. Emil Williams Jr. with the 2023 Rookie of the Year on this tour, Miss Hope Gramley, and Hope, we simply start right there. First time someone's going to win a green jacket tonight. I feel that it's been a while. I feel like since we've had that opportunity, all 5 finalists, no green jackets. So not only is the emotions going to be running high, I think the nerves are going to be there as well. First thoughts when you hear about this top 5 and an opportunity to take home the U.S. Women's Open trophy.
I mean, it's going to be a strong show for sure. We have lots of different styles, lots of different techniques, and so it's going to be great to see all of them fighting against each other to see who's going to come out on top.
Quick shout out to, of course, Royal Penn Woodland, and this is a historic venue, the house that Jim Doty built, and now, of course, Jimmy Clapper and the entire staff have taken the torch that Jim set, and they have continued this great tradition. The entire staff here has been fantastic, so shout out to Royal Penn Woodland. You almost could be like the best possible venue to have this situation, right? We talk about 1996. It was Liz Johnson's first U.S. Women's Open and her first title, right? You should have known right then and there that Liz Johnson would be special, because who just goes out and wins the U.S. Women's Open and wins their first title? Hope to this point. And there's a lot of things on the line, not just with the title, of course, but we got Player of the Year implications as well. Jane Sin could potentially take home Player of the Year. We're talking about in August, not tonight, but she's got an opportunity to put herself in grand position. What does she have to do to get to that point?
Yes. Well, she's just got to stick to what she's been doing all week, keeping her game as simple as possible. Her forward roll is going to allow her to get through the fronts a little bit cleaner, and she's still going to have that back motion down lane to get the right angle into the pocket. I love talking about Lee Jane Sin, but we can't let go of Verity Crawley. She's right in that Player of the Year race as well. If she's able to climb the ladder tonight, it can make things very interesting come August.
I would certainly agree with that. Lee Jane Sin and Verity Crawley were 3rd and 4th in the points race coming into this event this week after the Southern Indiana Open. Shannon Pluhowski was leading that race, and she did make match play. So this thing is setting up to be a turn-style situation in August. It could be a roller coaster. Who's going to go to the turnstile? Every event, we might see more movement come August as well. In regards to not just Player of the Year, Hope, but something you know a lot about, Rookie of the Year. Yeah. Crystal Elliott, Bailey Delrose, Miranda Patterson, Rebecca Hagerman, Kayla Smith, Marissa Carey. Really, the list goes on and on. A very strong class, obviously, and something you know about. Winning the award, but the entire process to get there. Crystal has a nice lead, and she had a great tournament this week, went through the highs and lows of qualifying and match play. But from your perspective, how is the journey, what has to happen for either of those players, but Crystal in the lead, to come away with the award at the end of the day once we get to the Tour Championship?
Yeah. Well, like you said, it's a very strong class indeed. We have lots of rookies out here who are fighting for that award. As someone who has been through that race, I can say that they're not really focused on it, right? They're going to be doing everything they can to, get this strike here, make the next cut, maybe get a title, right? They're not focusing on the points as so much as they are, sticking to their game, sticking to their processes, and just knocking pins over. In Crystal's case specifically, she does have quite a bit of a lead. But just like with any tournament and any season, it's not over until the fat lady sings. So we're going to see, how close we can get it and who's going to come out on top.
Real quick, for you personally, Carlene Byer, you had Corrine Acuff, both made the Queen Show last year as rookies. I felt like you started so strong, but there was a little bit of a push, from Corrine, right?
Yes.
Were you open about wanting to win the Rookie of the Year? And do you think some of our rookies now are open about it, or do they just kind of keep it in the back of their mind, don't want to speak about it, but certainly know it's on their bucket list and it's part of their goals list?
Yeah. Well, in my case specifically, I knew that it was a thought, it was a goal, but I really didn't focus on it. I didn't talk about it hardly ever. If someone came up to me and said, "Hey, you're leading," I'd be like, "For now." There's still so much bowling left to be done. I haven't earned anything yet. And so it's definitely going to come down to the last few tournaments, I believe, as well.
A break is near. The next time we'll see our PWBA superstars will be in August, so some time off. Let's learn how some of these players are going to spend their time. Tease, we're going to Mexico.
The break until the Lucy is to work out some fundamentals, but so we're buying a house, so probably house projects in between, spend time with the naked cat and the furry dog, so it'll be good relaxation time, I think.
My break plan is to spend time with my family. It's our 10-year anniversary, so spending time with him, but I do have a lot of bowling on there too. So
Sleep,
Tanning,
massage, relaxing,
a massage,
sun,
facial,
all the above.
nails,
Yes.
get her nails done.
My plans are still bowling related because I'm a college coach, so I have to go to junior gold. Those are my plans.
I get to go back to work. I'm a forensic scientist, so I get to go back into the lab and
She has a cool job.
and do work and maybe testify in some cases. I don't know yet. I haven't checked my email. Everything's chores with me. Like we want to fix the backyard up. There's things that we want to do. But if I have some leisure time, I like playing some video games and maybe do some drawing.
I'm a huge golfer. I love to golf. So get out on the links, work a little bit, relax, maybe bowl a little bit in between.
I'm actually gonna go to Ecuador, so it's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do some golfing, meet some friends, do some bowling clinics, so that should be a lot of fun, and then get ready for the Lucy.
I'll be a junior gold this year, and right after that, I am going straight to All-Star Game because it's a tradition for Chris and I. We go every year, so we will be in Dallas this year for the Home Run Derby, the All-Star Game, all that stuff.
To hang out with my sister and her baby.
I'm going to play a lot of softball. That is what I am going to do, and that's probably it.
Hang out with my cats, and I'm gonna go to my parents' house in Florida.
I'm going to Mexico. Playa del Carmen. If anybody wants to come, they can come with me. I'm gonna be on this. I'm gonna be the one in the sun by the pool. Thank you guys. You're welcome.
Well, Emil, I don't know about you, but I am definitely in need of a manicure.
I've been told by my wife every now and then that I should handle some self-care, some men's self-care as well, so I cannot fault the players. And I certainly can't fault Dee for going to Mexico, and that Claire is going to Ecuador.
Yeah,
I'm
jealous.
I was just about to say, I'm a little bit jealous. I feel like we need to maybe make a trip into the suitcase, but we're both well over 6 feet, so we may not fit.
Yeah,
That's
well,
a situation.
They can get the extra large one.
It's a situation. The situation tonight, Hope, is our top five. And we will start with our 5th seed, Brianna Clemmer. Bree Clem, right, having an injury that impacted certainly the start of her season.
Yes.
Stress fracture in the ankle, cleared to bowl right around Memorial Day, right before the Nashville Classic series. She comes out, does what she has to do, but of course struggles. It's an odd situation, obviously, when you're coming back from injury. But from then until now, she's now on the U.S. Women's Open show. How in the world was she able to do that?
She is. Well, like you said, coming back from an injury can be scary sometimes. And so Nashville was getting her feet wet again, right? She was building that confidence, making sure that she had confidence in her body to not be re-injured. So it's good to see that she's here and performing so well. Then she gets to the U.S. Open and she runs them over in qualifying. She didn't ever really struggle, it seemed. The one day slowed her down a little bit, day 2, but she was able to bounce back in day 3 and secure a spot in the top 36 for sure. Then she was able to make it to match play. So she's coming back from this injury, and now she's here in the top 5 for the biggest, best tournament of the year. Huge confidence rush for sure.
Bree Clem, also the only player to shoot 300 here this week at the U.S. Women's Open. The number 4 seed tonight is someone who's been knocking on the door of major championships for a very long time at this point, and it is Verity Crawley. I think we all know the story. We all follow Verity on social. So committed to training and dedication. What does she have to do to win the U.S. Women's Open tonight?
Yes, well, Verity works very hard. We can see it in all her social media posts. And even just watching her this week, you can see how much work that she's put in. She's able to repeat shots unlike anybody else on tour, in my opinion. And you never know, how far she's going to get before she finally finds that ceiling of hers.
Yep.
So this is going to be a great a great night for Verity. She's going to do everything that she's been doing since the start of season, and that's just knocking pins over.
Stephanie Johnson is the number 3 seed. We just saw Steph in a title match against Shannon Pluhowski at the Music City Classic. She fell in a very, very close title match, and now she's made 2 U.S. Women's Open shows in the past. From an experience perspective, she's got plenty of that, certainly not just TV, but certainly bowling experiences, being the oldest player on the show and the only mom. Shout out to Steph for that. What does Stephanie have to do? And you guys share that Texas connection as well.
Yes. Well, part of our Texas connection comes with a little bit of fire in it. Something that sets Stephanie aside on this TV show is that she's got some fire, right? She is going to do whatever it takes to get the job done tonight. And I don't think anything's going to stand in her way.
I like that. I like fire. I like intensity. And all the players showed a lot of grit, especially Diana Zavjalova. Now, when the week started, it was a record-breaking type of day one specifically for Diana. And then the roller coaster hit, which is certainly pattern 4. It was tough as nails, but she stayed the course, maintained, and was able to nab the number 2 seed. This is her 2nd consecutive U.S. Women's Open show and her 3rd in 4 years. Sounds like someone that's ready to win a U.S. Women's Open to me. Would you agree?
Absolutely. If I were Diana right now, I'd be tired of it. You know, she's gotten 3 shows for the last 4 years and hasn't gotten that green jacket yet. So she's going to come out firing. She, a lot like Verity, repeats shots so well, and she's able to get her balls to do all the right thing in the right part of the lanes, and so it's going to make her dangerous tonight for sure.
She looked really comfortable all week, and even when trouble struck, she did not waver, she did not hesitate, stayed the course. That leads us to our number 1 seed, arguably the most consistent player, even despite what Diana did, and it's from a ball reaction perspective, and that's Lee Janeson.
Yes.
Janeson was phenomenal, as she always is. Already with 2 titles, she could make it 3, and this also would be her first major hope. I know we've talked about ball reaction. Certainly yesterday, you bowled on this pattern, and we mentioned that before.
Yeah.
But what does Janeson have to do to take home this title as the number 1 seed?
Yeah, she's just got to do everything she's been doing since the season started, right? Hitting that mark, letting her ball do all of the work on the lane, and that nice forward roll. It's not going to overreact, and it's just going to get to the right angle of the pins, and she's going to strike a bunch. She's definitely not going to miss, you know, more than once, I would give. So it's going to be fun to see, you know, who can push her to her limit, who's going to come out on top.
Pattern 4 was the challenge as we send it to a nice, wonderful piece put on by Curtis and Ben. All 5 players telling us why the pattern was so hard, why this tournament is so difficult, and the grit that it takes to take home a U.S. Women's Open title.
So I saw the picture pretty early and then kind of just lost it right after, like immediately. So I think I had a really rough first 3 games.
My body hurts, my mind hurts, my everything hurts. But I kept telling myself, like, it's going to be worth it. Like, just work through all this pain and exhaustion and everything, and it's going to be worth it, and it definitely is.
I was just hoping, like, I could make good shots on this pattern because, as you can see, everyone is struggling.
I think it's hard to remind yourself that you can be patient because you have those couple of blocks to where the score is there and you're now chasing the score to now all of a sudden it's actually okay to get 9. So for me it was just reminding myself to be patient and that it's going to be a grind.
My mindset coming into today was, look, like, let's just leave it all out there. Let's make good shots, we'll catch some doubles, make a lot of spares, and just keep charging on. And that's why I'm sitting here.
The 2 times that I won, I shot 150. I won those matches. So just knowing that my opponent was seeing the same thing that I was seeing too, kind of made me feel a little bit better. Just because I was like, you know, they're struggling too, so it's like not just me seeing a little bit of difficulty, like we're seeing it together.
I'm not a patient person in general, but when it comes to US Open, I just understand how patient you have to be and just really focus on 1 shot at a time, and that's what I did.
It was quite even. When people had low games, that other person also had a low game. I find myself in that situation quite often where it came down to the 10th frame, but both people were struggling.
This pattern specifically, there were girls playing all sorts of different angles, which makes it really tricky. The transition isn't always what it should be. You know, I kept the ball in my hand that was just kind of middle of the road. You know, I knew that it wouldn't get me in trouble. I wasn't looking for strikes. I was looking for good execution and makeable spares.
I've always dreamed about putting that green jacket on. I've watched the greats do it, Liz Johnson, Kelly Kulick, Kim Terrell-Kearney, being able to grow up and having those amazing women to look up to.
Everybody wants to win US Open because it's the most difficult, the most frustrating, the most prestigious, the most just everything tournament there is.
Whole PWBA season is special for me because I'm returning after so many years of break. So US Open, it will be something great and something special for me.
It's prestige. I think everybody talks about the US Open. I mean, you have it in other sports as well. I just think that majors hit different.
I don't have a green jacket in my closet. So adding a green jacket to my arsenal and my closet would be amazing to have that in my wardrobe.
Pattern number 4, Hope Gramley, was needless to say the most difficult of the week. I think certainly some players, reps, and everyone in between thought maybe there's some other earlier patterns in the week, day 1, day 2, that would be the most difficult, but it proved to be pattern 4. Each player you heard just talk about in their own words how much of a grind it was. We felt it in the Bowl TV booth, right? You could feel the energy was certainly different from the lanes, and it made its way out to the concourse. You bowled on the pattern. You advanced to the top 36, so congratulations there, catching a check here this week. Why was the pattern so difficult from your perspective, in your opinion?
Yeah, well, it was difficult, and it's a medium length. You know, it's always going to be tricky in my opinion because there's so many different ways you can get to the pocket. This pattern specifically is difficult because of that upside down shape of the ice oil late in the pattern. So if you're playing to the right, you're going to see a lot of that fire oil. It's going to burn up faster. It's going to break down quicker. And then as you move left, you get stuck in that ice. And so it can make it really tricky on which part of the lane is best to play.
Hope, a lot of players want to win a green jacket. They want to take home this trophy right here.
Yes.
I know that's on your bucket list, certainly, along with the Queens, obviously. You already made 2 of those shows, so shout out to you. When you think about the week, everything that goes into it, then to make the show and have essentially one chance, right? It's like Eminem. You got one chance, not miss your chance, right? This is it for a lot of players. What does this mean, you think, from the player perspective, after hearing everything we talked about, hearing Liz Johnson speak about it, hearing players talk about Liz Johnson speak about and how she's able to win so many titles here, being 6, why is this thing so special?
Well, we all know that the U.S. Open is the hardest tournament of the year. You know, it's the most grueling, it's the most mental draining. So it's really important that whenever you're given the chance to be one of the finalists, that you can perform and you can walk away with that green jacket. You know, this tournament's so special. It's the most rewarding, the most satisfying to win, I can imagine. So it's gonna feel good for whoever puts that jacket on.
So you're saying next year you will not be in this seat, but you will be then on the show.
That's
correct?
The plan. Yes,
okay.
That's the plan.
So we can only get Hope for one time. All right. Hope, speaking of the show tonight, we got to give some predictions.
Yes.
We just talked about it a little bit. We gave one piece of info on how each player might be able to win this thing tonight. Who do you think wins? And obviously Jane Sin, right, the number 1 seed, so she's in the driver's seat to that regard. Who, A, might be able to make a run to the title match, and what might they have to do to defeat Jane Sin?
Yeah, as far as making a run to the title match, I have to go with Stephanie. She's got the most experience, she's got the fire, she's got the determination, and she's going to do what it takes. Once we get there, fortunately, I have to go with Lee Jane Sin. She had the best looking match play, at least for the last 12 games or so. She's going to be hard to beat.
I'm going to go with Stephanie Johnson. I like your train of thought regarding experience. Although that opening match between Bree Clem and Verity Crawley, I do think the winner of that match could find themselves in the title match. We always hear about players discussing what it's like to be in a ladder running type situation, get more games under your belt. You know what the lanes are already doing, so you kind of got that small advantage. But I like Steph for a couple of reasons. One, she's got the family element, so gracious, so generous to be here. 2, she loves zebra cakes. We've talked about that. And 3, I'm on Team 40. She turned 40 early this year. I'm about to turn 40 in a couple of days. I'm Team 40, so I'm going with Stephanie Johnson to take home the U.S. Women's Open title here tonight. Folks, it's going to be a great show. We appreciate all of you for watching on Bowl TV and all of our social channels and all week long on Bowl TV. The coveted green jacket, this trophy is on the line. Someone is going to take it home. Find out next on CBS Sports Network. For Hope Gramley, my name is Emil Williams Jr. We will see you next time. Enjoy the show tonight on CBS Sports Network.